All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for being here this morning. It is such a treat to be back with you. This is my third day back from maternity leave, and it's felt so good to be surrounded by you guys again. So thanks for letting me have such a lovely maternity leave. I had like only one agent reach out to me the whole time. I was like, guys, are you okay? Like, do you need anything? Are we all good? But you guys gave me such a lovely break and such a lovely time with Margot. So I pulled up a picture for you guys in case you wanted to see what she looks like, in case you're as obsessed as I am. But we show you, this is Margot. So yeah, anyway, thanks so much for giving me such a lovely time off. It was, really great to get that time with her. So much appreciated. Okay, so you guys have been watching videos while I was gone, and there's kind of one last segment to talk about in this 8x8 program. So if you haven't been tuning in the last couple of weeks, I pre-recorded some videos while I was gone to teach you guys about this Ninja program called 8x8, and it's 8 touches in 8 weeks, and it's designed to either get re-engagement with people who are already in your database, or to like introduce new people to who you are. So if you're confused about what that looks like, it can be a combo of postcards, of handwritten notes, inviting them to events, or meeting up face to face. I will send out this slide deck. So if you ever wanted to like get a really in-depth look at what an 8x8 is, this Ninja Selling podcast has a great overview of what it looks like. So I made up 2 different examples of what an 8x8 could be. This one is more event-based. So you guys have gone through all of the weeks. This last week, week 8, is what we're talking about today. It's the get-together portion of an 8x8. So basically all of weeks 1 through 7 are providing value, inviting them to events. So you're kind of building this relationship, and it all kind of culminates in a week 8 meetup in person. So that can be meet up for coffee, go for a walk, go for lunch, like whatever it looks like. The goal is to like actually set a physical in-person meeting with this person. So I have a couple things I wanted to mention on week 8, and I really hope you don't think that I'm mansplaining how to meet with people to you. But I just wanted to share my favorite piece of advice that I've ever gotten when it comes to talking to other people. So again, this is going to sound so freaking basic. So sorry again if it comes off as mansplaining, but when I started like meeting with a lot of people, and a big part of my job is just connecting with people. Someone gave me the advice years ago that like all you need to do when you're meeting with another person is be more interested in the person in front of you than anything that you have to say. That looks like asking a ton of questions and not really sharing a ton about yourself. I mean, for sure, like, don't make the conversation awkward by not sharing things about yourself. But I think the focus of the conversation should always be the other person in front of you. And I think that's going to serve you so well when you're building your business and getting to know people. So I think carry that advice with you whenever you're walking into those meetings in your 8x8. Be more interested in the person in front of you. Okay, and then I also wanted to incorporate some of our tech with this, and I wanted to do a demo of an @Turf report. Obviously, you guys don't need an @Turf report to tell you where to meet up with people. You'd probably just use Google Maps, or you guys already know really cool things to do around you. But it's a great opportunity for me to shamelessly plug our technology. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over into Platform. And we are going to be looking at @Turf reports. So an @Turf report is a really quick and easy way to pull a list of amenities around a certain address. You can also build it to be like neighborhood specific. So if you're looking for an @turf report, you're going to be in platform and it's under listing resources. So I'm going to go under listing resources and hit @turf report. And it's going to take you to the @turf report dashboard. Now from here, I'm going to hit this button that says add new. And I'm going to choose custom address. It's going to give you the option to add it directly to a property folder. So a lot of people create these for listings that they have coming up, and they can just go ahead and associate it directly with a property folder that they already have. But I'm just going to make a random one. So I'm going to hit this custom address, and I am going to type in my home address. One thing I will say about this program, we're all kind of used to Google auto-populating the address for us. I won't say this program is not super great at that. So I feel like I always need to type in the city and state in order for it to get it correct. So just so you know that. So I'm going to say, yep, that's the address that I want. And then I'm going to choose the search radius that I want. For my house, I'm going to go 2 miles away, and I'm going to have it pull all of the list of amenities there. So I'm going to hit next. And then you're going to see over here on the right, it's going to pull a list of all of these different categories, right? So I can look under restaurants and I can choose the ones that I want to highlight around my house. So I love Chipotle. I love Jimmy John's. I'm going to get Tomo Japanese Steakhouse. I'm going to get Sakura. If you know, you know. Okay, and then I'm just going to go through here and grab a couple other spots just so you can see what it looks like when it's full of things. So give me a second. Okay, I think it's really funny that sometimes entertainment, it puts Whole Foods, which for me, being like an avid grocery shopper and cook, I'm like 100% that's entertainment for me. Probably not entertainment for anyone else though. So just be wary. It does its best to categorize things and it's not always like super correct. So, okay, once you're done, I did want to show you, it doesn't always pull up everything that you would want it to pull up. So for instance, I want to add a new restaurant that is in Nora called the Culinary Dropout, and it didn't automatically pop up on my restaurant. So I'm going to toggle the search bar over and do search, and I am going to search specifically for Culinary Dropout, and you'll see that pop up, and then I'm going to have to tag that as a actual restaurant. Okay, so now once it's done, the last thing that I want you to be aware of is, so right now the title is going to be the address of my specific house. Maybe if I wanted to make it a little more agnostic, I didn't want to say, hey, this is just for this house. Maybe I just want to say, hey, this is an overview of the Nora neighborhood. I could get in here and change this title and say, this is for Nora. Guys, it's so hard to talk and type at the same time, like spelling and speaking. I'm not ready for that. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and download this report. It's going to give me the option to see how much I want to zoom my map. I'm going to hit OK, and then it's going to pull up the report. And I'm going to change how I'm sharing my screen so you guys can see all the things. Okay, wait a second. You're going to get insane window for just a second. Okay, this is what a turf report looks like. So I have my Nora neighborhood up here. I'm going to see all the little pins here, and then you'll see all the different lists and how far they are away from your specific location there as well. And then it's of course going to have your branding information on the bottom too. So this is a great thing. I mean, if you are doing an 8x8 and you're meeting up with people and you're trying to figure out where to go, you could use your turf report. But this is a great thing to have in listings, to have at open houses, when you're working with buyers and you're taking them to a showing. I think this is a really fun thing to have, especially if they're not familiar with a neighborhood and they want to see like, okay, how far away is the gym or the grocery store or whatever from this specific house? Great thing to pull up. Okay. the last thing I want to show you before I hand it over to Scott is a really cool feature. New feature came out while I was on maternity leave, and I want to make sure that you guys didn't miss it. So this new feature is in the CRM in platform, and you can now add bulk outreach. So what do I mean by that? This is when you are maybe you invite a bunch of clients to an event, or you write a bunch of postcards to clients, and rather than getting into each of their individual profiles, you want to go ahead and say, okay, I wrote notes to these 10 people today. You can now do that in platform really easily. So I'm in my CRM, I'm going to hit add new, and I'm going to hit log outreach. And from there, I can just start typing in who I want. So I'm going to type in Jason. I'm going to type in Mark Nottingham. And then you can actually say entire farms. So let's say I created a farm to invite to our client concert and they all came. I can just go ahead and type in that entire farm and have them show up. I forgot to make a client concert farm, so I'm just going to show you. I'm adding my Broad Ripple farm, and now all of them, I can log that I reached out to them today with a handwritten note or an event. They all came to the client concert, and then I can go ahead and log that. So I just think that's a really easy tool and great way for you guys to stay on top of the outreaches that you have going on. So that is all I have for you today. Megan is not with us today, and then Mark is in Michigan with his family today. So we have an extra special guest with us. Mr. Scott White is here to chat with us today. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to him. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Pleasure to be with you all. Man, it is so good to be back on these calls and seeing Rosie in the flesh. So happy she is back. Also just want to celebrate like all the staff that stepped in and did an amazing job while Rosie was out. Rosie has an immense amount of responsibilities on her plate. Y'all don't even realize everything that she does for us. So just kudos to her, but also kudos to all the staff people that stepped up while she was gone. So, hey, guys, a pleasure to be with you guys. If you don't know me, I'm one of the partners here at Properties. I'm also our Accelerate director. And for some of you, you may not have heard what Accelerate is. It's a year-long training program that I like to do with a lot of our agents. So today, you're not going to hear the nerdy numbers behind the market that Mark Nottingham likes to present. I'm going to leave that to him. That's his bread and butter. But what I like to do is just kind of do a mid-year check-in with you all. Like, hey, how are we doing? How's our mindset? I ran a business plan session last year back in September. We all filled out our business plans for 2025, and I bet all of you have referenced those daily to start off this year, right? Absolutely. So obviously that answer is no. So I think this is a good time for us as we're nearly through halfway of 2025, which is crazy to even think. Let's revisit that. Like, hey, how are we doing? How's the year going so far? Let's measure that against what we wanted to accomplish in our business plan. And then lastly, wanted to just kind of touch base, like, how are we doing with client care? How are we doing with our flow and marketing activities? And just kind of put some things in front of you guys to think about. Also give you, I love to give homework. So just to give just 1, 2, maybe 3 short, quick things that you guys can be doing here in the meantime to make the second half of 2025 even better than the first. So I'm going to jump in here and show some slides of what I got prepared for today. I want to go ahead and apologize in advance to our Accelerate participants that are on this call because this is going to be somewhat of a review for you guys that we just covered last week. But I don't think we can talk about mindset stuff quite enough. So anyway, so yeah, I wanted to, again, just kind of start off and touch base. I know many of us here in the brokerage have gone through the Ninja program and or have heard one of us talk about just how important mindset is when going into your real estate business. It's such a crucial portion for me. When I first heard this back in 2022, I was like, man, that sounds, pretty cliche. I get what you're saying, but I didn't really buy into it until I started doing some of the practices that Ninja teaches around forming a positive mindset. That, okay, there's really something to this. And over the past few years, just walking alongside so many of you and seeing, hey, when we are in a great mindset, when we're thinking positively, when we're something that I'm going to cover here shortly, in a growth mindset, that's where the fruit comes, man. That's where we see a ton of success, both personally and business wise. So I wanted to just kind of take this time as just a quick review of like some of the questions that you guys can be asking yourselves in moments that you feel like, man, maybe my mindset is getting a little negative. Like, hey, things aren't going my way. I haven't gotten a referral in 30, 45, 60 days. Business is a little slow, or man, I feel like I'm doing all the right activities, but it's just not coming in. So these are some questions that I always like to propose to everybody when you can kind of self-evaluate where you're at. And the very first question is am I a player or am I a victim? And again, anybody that's gone through the Ninja installation, no matter who the presenter has been for us over the past few years, touches on this of so many examples of athletes or business entrepreneurs or whoever it may be that had a major setback or obstacle in their way, and how did they overcome that, and always when they were able to get over that obstacle or that hump to become a successful athlete, business person, whoever it may be, that they had a player mentality, right? They didn't sit back and play the victim card. They didn't wallow in pity. They rose to the occasion, right? So I think that's like the most important question that you can ask yourself when you feel yourself going into the negative is like, hey, am I a player or am I a victim? The next one is like, what quadrant am I in? And Ninja again touches on this, 4 different quadrants that we can live in. But it's this one right here that we want to be in on as much as we can, is that high positive, right? Like, even when things aren't going our way, where can we find the wins and where can we find that energy to get us into this quadrant right here of high positivity? Because high positivity is going to attract high positive clients. And those are all the type of clients that we want to form and be successful in our business. So that's another question to be asking of yourself. Another one is, what am I grateful for? That's going to be one of the practices that I want you guys to walk away from, probably the practice that I want you guys to walk away from, just getting yourself into a positive mindset, is what am I grateful for today? Like, I start each one of my days as part of my morning routine, writing out 3 gratitudes, 3 things that I'm grateful for. It can be as big as, man, I am just grateful for my kids. I got 3 wonderful kids. They can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but you know what? I'm grateful for them. I'm blessed. It could be as small as, man, I am grateful for being able to walk outside today and it be 60 degrees outside. That's awesome. Like, it can be as little as you want it to be, as it can be as big as you want it to be, but 3 things that you are grateful for every single day. So just asking yourself that question, what am I grateful for? And then lastly, like, hey, am I in abundance or am I in a scarcity mindset? And I think, guys, man, I've interacted with a lot of different real estate agents at different brokerages, different leaders, different broker owners across the industry. And I got to say, guys, I am so proud to be part of this brokerage that has, for the most part, an abundance mindset, that there's plenty of business out there for all of us, that when one person wins, we all win. And I see that on a regular basis, just interacting with you guys, sitting down one-on-one, having other conversations with other real estate leaders in the industry here that are like, man, there's something different about App Properties and how you guys just interact with each other. And so again, super proud of you guys. I think we all really do this well, but let's keep that going of like, hey man, Am I in a scarcity mindset where there's not enough business and it turns uber competitive? Or do I have that abundance mindset that like, man, there's so much out there for all of us. Let's all get it. All right. So those are some 4 questions I just want you guys to ponder. One book that we're going through this year as an Accelerate group is this book right here called The Gap and the Gain. And the general concept is you could either have a gap mindset or a growth mindset. And the gap mindset is basically the gap that exists between where you're currently at and where you want to be. I think all of us as real estate agents and as business owners are very high achievers. Like, hey, we set a goal, we want to reach for that, and we're constantly trying to achieve that, right? But and that's great, and that's innately a good thing. But what is innately happening as well as we advance in our career and as we get older and as things change, like that bar that we set, that gap that exists between where we're at and where we want to be, that constantly changes. And again, that's a good thing. That's okay. But if we're constantly living in that space that exists between where we're at and what we're trying to achieve, we're looking at all the losses. We're looking at like, okay, yes, what is it going to take to get there? But I'm still not there yet. Oh my gosh, I'm panicking. For instance, looking at your maybe your volume goal for 2025, and you're not on pace for that, and you're kind of freaking out like, I don't know how I'm going to reach this goal. Sometimes that can really paralyze you. Sometimes reaching and always trying to reach for something doesn't actually bring you that true happiness that you're searching for, right? And so the growth mindset takes a look back, right? So the growth mindset looks at the growth that exists between where I'm at currently and where I was. All right. And so adjusting that mindset is huge, to be looking back and just celebrating the wins, celebrate like those small victories that you guys are having. It may not even be a closed transaction, y'all. It could be, man, I actually woke up and did my morning routine today. That's a win I got to celebrate, right? Yesterday, I hadn't done my morning routine. All right. So that's a win to look back on. I would just challenge a lot of you guys where you're sitting right now, looking back at your career 1, 2, 5 years ago, like looking at all that growth that you have had. Maybe you're not where you want to be. And again, that's perfectly okay. But concentrating on the growth that you have had during that time from where you're at currently to where you were all those years ago, that is what's going to drive you to fill that gap a lot quicker, and where that true contentment and happiness is going to come from. So which one are you guys living in today? Again, another question I just want to kind of have you guys self-evaluate is, am I in a gap mindset or am I in a gain mindset? Last thing I want to touch on as far as mindset goes, I'm briefly going to cover this, but like, what does this look practically for us to basically reprogram our brains in real estate? Is like, let's highlight the positive, just like I just touched on in that growth mindset. Where are the wins at? Most importantly, guys, control what we can control. Like, there is so much as real estate agents that frankly we just can't control. There's so many hands within a transaction, appraisers, inspectors, loan officers, you name it. If they're not doing their job, man, yeah, that can fall apart, and we are the ones that are having to pick up those pieces, right? But that's not a reflection of you, right? Control what you can control. And then here are some great activities and habits to help reprogram your brain. I've already talked about gratitudes, writing handwritten notes to people, just getting in and getting the body moving on a regular basis, exercise, meditation. And again, something that I feel like me and this brokerage does so well that I'm so proud of is random acts of kindness. Like, what are we doing from a generosity perspective? So those are some very practical things. They fit right into, for all of you that have been through the Ninja installation or read the book before, the Ninja 9, a lot of these activities fit right into that. And so those are some just really, really great things to tackle when you just feel like your mindset isn't right, and also just to stay consistent to make sure we're trying to work towards that high positive quadrant on a regular basis. So again, we're halfway through the year, y'all. So like, I just wanted to get that back in front of all of you guys to just be thinking about, like, hey, again, if 2025 has not gone the way that you have wanted it to, guess what? We still have 6.5 months left. 2025 is not over, right? So a lot of it, I would guarantee a lot of your success is going to come from that first point that I just touched on. Is like, hey, where's your mindset at? How are we working towards being in that high positive quadrant? And how are we being a player and not a victim? All right. So wanted to just kind of set the stage for the rest of what I'm going to talk about today. It's just kind of, again, revisiting your business plan. And I kind of joked about it, but like, I'm just as guilty as I say that. Like, I'm someone that's maybe referenced my business plan 3, maybe 4 times since I filled it out in December of 2024. But this is a great opportunity, I think, for us to just kind of like reevaluate where we're at. I know talking to many of you, some of you guys are having the best years of your career here in 2025. And that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. You guys are doing awesome work. I've seen so much growth out of all of you that I've come across, whether Accelerate program or just meeting with you one-on-one. Super just thrilled with the growth that y'all are having. Some of you are like, Scott, I hear that, and I'm not there. Like, I'm having a terrible 2025. It's just not working for me. There's been a lot of things going on in my personal life, and you know what? That's okay. Again, this session is for y'all to just try to hit the reset button, regather. Maybe some of our goals have changed or are being forced to change. Like, again, some things may pop up in your life where it's like, hey, I wrote this personal goal out December of 2024, and I either 1, achieved it, awesome, or 2, that's not really a reality anymore. Things have shifted in my life. Great. This is an opportunity for us to sit down and refocus and reestablish maybe some of what those changes are going to be, so that we can, again, have a great second half to the year. So I'm going to send this out via Taylor to you guys to all have, but want to take you guys to take some time on your own to kind of work through this worksheet. All these are just questions of just kind of evaluating, again, how your year has gone, evaluating, hey, where are the wins? And then 2, where are some just room for improvement? Again, both personally and in business. I think so much of our business and our business success, again, is tied to the mindset portion, but also it's tied to how our personal life is going, and prioritizing our mental and physical health, prioritizing the people in our life, prioritizing our family, so that you guys are set up for success on the business side of things. So would love for you guys to work through this on your own. And then also, I'm going to challenge you, as one of the challenges here at the end, is to get with a peer, get with an accountability partner, an accountability group, and have them rate you. Hey, how, from their perspective, how has your year gone? And they may be, a lot more positive, point out wins that you're not willing to point out. And they might be able to point out some things for room for improvement as well. I've got 2 great accountability partners that I meet with on a regular basis, and I fully expect them to point out things that I need to be improving on. And again, we'll just throw out that challenge for you guys to work through that as well. So again, I'll send this out via Taylor, along with, again, some of these questions just to ask yourself, like, how the year has gone. And the last one that I kind of want to revisit for you guys is the number one thing that we always do with our business plans is talk about, like, what is your why? What's the why behind why you're in real estate, why you're doing what you're doing, why you're in this crazy business? And maybe that has changed for you. Okay. And so I'm going to give you guys kind of just like a half version of the business plan for the rest of the year. I gave this all out to our Accelerate participants this past week, but there's going to be a couple sections in here for you guys to kind of rewrite. Maybe why your why has changed. Maybe it hasn't changed, but this is an opportunity for you to get it back in front of you to keep driving you on an every single day basis. So maybe your why has changed. That's there for you guys. And then again, your 3 to 5 business and personal goals that you all wanted to achieve for the year. That will be part of the worksheet as well for you guys. And then I, again, just touched on this a little bit, but I would love for you guys to get, again, with a partner, after you guys have worked through this worksheet individually, how your 2025 has gone, how have you graded yourself versus your accountability partner, and have them point out a few things. And then, again, one of the challenges I'm going to give you here at the end when I've wrapped everything up is have an accountability partner for the rest of the year. Meet on a regular basis. That could look weekly. That could look monthly. That might be virtually. That might be in person. But have somebody that you know that you have in your corner that knows this business. I would challenge you guys to have a couple, one maybe outside of your business that isn't walking in real estate every single day, that can keep you accountable, that can talk maybe more on the personal side of things, that's going to challenge you in different ways. But then also have somebody here within the brokerage that's going to be your accountability partner to hey, how are you doing with your morning routine? How are you doing tracking with your personal goals? Like, what habits are you setting up right now to achieve those goals? So all of those questions get asked and in my opinion only get accomplished when you have somebody holding your hand to the fire. So would highly encourage you guys to find somebody. Come to me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to be able to sit down with you, have a one-on-one, and just hear how things are going. So I would love to offer that up for y'all. Okay, last thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and this is like, I feel like it's a full-blown Accelerate session that I'm trying to fit in within 25 to 30 minutes. So I know this is a lot of information to throw out you guys, but I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't really feel like it was important. So last thing I want to touch on is client care, flow, and this concept of unreasonable hospitality. All right. So for you guys that have been part of the brokerage for the past couple of years, you've probably heard of this book right here in front of you ad nauseum. But I cannot stress how important enough it is to dive into this book by Will Guidara. Unreasonable Hospitality. This was introduced to us by one of the managing brokers up in Chicago, Paul Blackburn, which a lot of what I'm going to be touching on, he actually came down last month in May and presented in front of our Accelerate group, which was fantastic. But the concept of unreasonable hospitality comes down to kind of like this quote right here by Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so the concept of the book is Will Guidara, who is the author, is a restaurant owner in New York and is trying to get this restaurant to be a 3 Michelin star restaurant and be the #1 restaurant in the world. He's got one of the best chefs in New York. He's got some of the best staff. And what most restaurants concentrate on is the quality of food and the dining experience being elevated to the next level. And that might mean just more luxurious. Hey, you know, the silverware is not out of place. Everything kind of operates at a high level. And he did that for years. And they got 1 Michelin star and just couldn't like really progress and advance. And he just kind of started asking himself the question of like, why is this the case, right? And so he dove into this concept of what's the difference between service and hospitality? And he asked some really interesting interview questions when he would ever interview someone to be added to his staff. And ironically, the person that like gave maybe the best answer ended up getting hired. But the question of like, what's the difference between service and hospitality? This person said, service is black and white, but hospitality is color. And I think that really stuck out to him and is kind of the heartbeat of the whole book of like, hey, how do we just elevate all of the touch points that we have with our customers or our clients? How do we give them an experience that they're going to walk away and feel something different because of how we treated them? And so as soon as him and his staff started concentrating on that, they were able to get their restaurant to a 3 Michelin star restaurant and #1 rated in the world because of the experience that their customers felt when they walked in and when they walked away. And one of the stories that he shares in there that is my favorite story, just to kind of give you a glimpse of what this restaurant was doing. And you're going to find out here in a second how this all ties back to real estate and your business. But anyways, 4 business people were in New York. They were visiting and they literally had their luggage with them. They were on their way out. This was their last stop before leaving New York City because they heard great things about this restaurant. So sit down, having a great meal, whatever. Towards the end, one of the waiters is talking with them and Will happens to walk by and hears them say, you know, our biggest regret is that we haven't had a New York hot dog. Like we haven't gone up to a street vendor and had a New York hot dog. And so Will hears this and he goes in the back of the kitchen, he takes off his apron, he runs out the back door and he goes down the street and literally buys a $6 hot dog off of a vendor on the street, comes back into the kitchen, much to his head chef's dismay, is like, hey, I want you to plate this and cut it up into fours. And so they dress it up really, really nice, ketchup, mustard, all that fine stuff. I put it on this nice plate. The presentation has got to be A plus, and I'm sure the quality of the hot dog is more like a C minus. But anyways, he brings it out and he says, "Hey, I heard you guys said that you haven't had a New York street hot dog. Here it is for you." And literally, that is all that those people talked about when they left, and would constantly refer the restaurant back, because literally that cost him $6 to walk down the street and get a hot dog for them. But the feeling that they left with was like, man, this guy actually heard us. He heard us and he took action, and he got something for us that we hadn't had yet, that we had explained that was a need for us, right? And so how do we do that on the real estate side of things, right? So how do we connect this back? And I always love Paul Blackburn. He uses this story. Paul does not sell anymore, but when he did, he had a client here named Adam, and Adam is a huge dog fan. His dog Maisie here is like his pride and joy. Basically, it's like his kid, and they went everywhere together. And literally, Maisie even went on their first tour together of a couple of condos in Chicago, which I think is nuts. But anyways, like Maisie was a big reason why Adam was looking for a new place. They were too far away from a dog park. Like, he wanted somewhere that was like a short distance to a dog park, so he could walk there. It'd be a little bit easier access for him. Anyway, so Paul hears this, right? And so for at $0, he ends up coming up with this plan of literally having a presentation ready for Adam at his next outing. And he literally, every showing that they're going to, prints off like a map of where the particular property is at, and then how long of a walk it is to the nearest dog park, and then puts this simple question on there: would Maisie approve of this particular condo, right? And so I think this is such a simple thing to, like, he heard Adam's need here, and his main goal for finding a new place is that he wanted to be close to a dog park, and that Maisie is a very, very important part of his life and decision making and making this choice. And he curated an experience around what it would be like for Maisie to approve this house. And so Adam ended up buying a place, and Adam is one of Paul's like top referral partners since 2020 when this all went down. And to this day, Paul always tells this story. And I think this is a beautiful image of something that, like, I think when it comes to something like unreasonable hospitality, that can be something that like overwhelms us. Like, well, that's going to cost me a lot of money, or that's going to take a lot of time. It's really not. This again cost Paul no dollars to do. It took him maybe an extra 5 minutes to map out where the nearest dog park was. I think this is a great example of what Rosie just did for y'all. Like, let's utilize turf reports for all of our buyers. That's something that I've started to do, and my buyers love it. You know, it's just elevating it to another level of, hey, when I'm going to go show them a house, literally I do a turf report around that house, and here are the nearest parks, here are the nearest restaurants and coffee shops, here's the nearest school for a family, right? So utilizing the tools that we have, again, that took me an extra 2 to 3 minutes to do and cost me nothing to just elevate that experience. So one thing I'm going to challenge you guys to do is write out what your buyer process or seller process is, as far as like, what are the touch points? Like, I want you to literally write this out. Take a blank sheet of paper and write out all of the different touch points that you have with a buyer and all of the different touch points that you have with a seller. All right. And I really want you to think hard about them. Probably you're going to write through it one time and then go through it a second or third time, because you're going to keep adding to it. This is an example that Paul gives to us. Some of these things don't apply to us here in Indiana with the whole attorney review and whatnot, but all that to say is, like, there is a laundry list here of all of the touch points that we have with our clients throughout a transaction. So I want you guys to do this, and I want you to just pick one, and how do I elevate that? So for instance, one thing that I've started doing is on the walkthrough. I get there 15 minutes ahead of time before my client, and I've purchased like some frozen pizza, some paper towels, paper plates, some snacks, bottled water, whatever it may be, and I stock the fridge. So when my people are coming through and doing the walkthrough through the house, they've got some snacks and food for move-in day and the day after, right? Just something as simple as that. It cost me 40 to 50 bucks to do. And I've had so many people afterwards say that was such an awesome thing to do, right? Like that took one thing off of my plate, that I had to get food in the new house when we're moving in. So something as simple as that, guys, is all it takes to raise that bar to the next level. All right. So I'd love to hear just collaboration amongst all you guys, how you can maybe push each other to be better in this. And would love to hear all the ideas and things that you guys are doing. We had an opportunity in Accelerate last week to kind of share some of the things that people are doing right now. And I just love hearing the creativity and the love that people are pouring out to their clients based on this concept. So yeah, 3 challenges I want to leave with you guys as we wrap up here. First and foremost, from the mindset portion, is get an accountability partner group. Ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself how the year has gone, which kind of bleeds into number 2 here, revisiting your business plan for 2025 and filling out that evaluation worksheet. So I think it's vitally important for y'all to find an accountability partner, meet on a regular basis, and constantly keep these goals and your flow activities that you're going to do for the second half of the year in front of you on a normal basis. And then number 3 there that we just covered, write out your buyer or seller process. I would challenge you to do both, but I'll give you the option just to do one, and choose just one interaction to elevate. That could be, when you show up to an inspection for a buyer, what are some creative things that you could do to help make that experience even better for your client? So I know that's a lot that I threw at you guys in about 30 minutes here. This is, again, not the Excel spreadsheet that y'all were expecting to hear from Mark today, but nevertheless, wanted to kind of touch base with y'all and put that out in front of you. And like I said, I will get all of that, the slides, business plan, and all of that over to Taylor to send out to you guys today.
Thanks, Scott. I have one last thing that I want to talk to you guys about before we adjourn. We have a big event happening this Saturday. The Pride Parade is happening this Saturday morning, and we've changed up a little bit how we're going to be doing it. We're going to have a tailgate beforehand, like at our parade spot, and we'll have sandwiches and food and mimosas and just like a lot of really fun stuff. So even if you aren't able to walk with us in the parade, we'd love to have you come tailgate with us if you're here in Indy. So yeah, we'd love to have you. Tailgate will be sometime between like 8:30 and 10. So if you want to stop by anytime around then, that would be great. All right, everyone have a lovely day, and we will see you next week. Cheers.